though there is going to be work being done on runways 8 and 26, pilots can still use 12 and 30. And I sent that message out to everyone. So I just didn't want any surprises. Oh, runway's not open, you were told. Anyway, we're going to have Plane Crazy. And Scott Glazier is our speaker. He's Vice President of Operations and Instructor Pilot for Flight Research. And he's going to talk about upset recovery. And it's important to know how to regain control of your aircraft when you get in a condition where you are upset. I even, on the flyer, made our little Plane Crazy guy upside down. So he will be speaking at 11. And I have flyers here for anyone that's interested. And I just want to say that I love the video that Mojave Airport posted on YouTube, and I'm sure it's on their website as well, about the man in the arena. That's one of my favorite quotes by Teddy Roosevelt, but it's true. You can fail and still you learn from that. And you're the person in the arena, and even though you fail, you know the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Well, let's see, that's from a long time ago. I brought some DVDs or CDs into Jason recently, and they're old Wings CDs. And they wouldn't work on my DVD player, they wouldn't work on my computer. And he says, oh, these are ancient. They're from the 80s. But so, the 80s isn't ancient to me, but it is to Jason. Ancient is 1800s to me. Well, no, that isn't ancient either, but anyway, Plane Crazy, June 18th, day before Father's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Just a quick comment on the construction. We appreciate you being flexible. We were told that if we couldn't do it that weekend in June, we had to wait until August. So we appreciate you being flexible on that.
No problem.
Hangar purchase $965. So what we're presenting today is the bill of sale that we've negotiated with the Sharps. They have come up here and have emptied the hangar, so it's ready for us to take possession. There is actually, the check for $41,000 is in the check register, you guys just approved, just to make that very transparent. But we ask for you to approve the final bill of sale so we can execute the agreement.
Okay, any questions, comments?
Do you have a renter for it?
Not yet. So the question is whether we're going to go off of our wait list, which is what I would recommend, or put it out to the general public.
Is there anything that needs to be done to it?
Very minor. Yeah, there is still some stuff in there that needs to be removed, and then there was some stuff that was spilled, and then so it's just a very basic cleanup. I don't think it'll take more than a couple of days to clean it up.
It looks in good shape.
Yeah.
Good. Great. Any other questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Okay. Have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Director Valentine, second by Director Parker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item C, resolution regarding, we've got 3 resolutions that are, can we do all these 3 together? There's just more of a housekeeping thing.
I'll make that recommendation. Yeah, these are.
Yeah, Scott was going to brief these if necessary. They're all very standard resolutions the county requires. Scott, is there anything specific you wanted to highlight with these three resolutions?
Nothing specific. I'm happy to answer any questions that there might be, though.
Do they have any questions?
Just curious, are there districts that pay for the candidate statements?
Not that we.
I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, I didn't think so, and they haven't in the past, but I just.
Number's gone up a lot in 4 years. Started with a 4 last time.
Really?
I paid this number last time.
I also think it's interesting that the handling and mailing costs are some costs. Printing's a little more, I guess. But they have to mail it out whether somebody puts a statement in or not.
Right, yeah.
And then, okay. Yeah, I'm happy to do all 3, I think is it.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to that effect?
Sure, motion to approve items C, D, and E on business items
Okay.
as a one item.
Sure.
Someone have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Director Peterson to approve, second by Director Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's go to report. CEO,
In addition to the written report, we just got word today that our depredation permit for Kern County has been approved. We recognize that the raven population has been increasing out here. So we did finally get that approval through the county and we can start. I'm actually meeting with someone tomorrow about starting the process of taking care of the ravens. So just wanted to update.
we still have our Raven Wrangler on the,
We lost one of them, so we had to find another one.
the Ravens get him or what? Find out where he lived, huh?
Sorry.
Okay.
Are there any questions or comments on the CEO report? And Director Peterson and I discussed briefly the emergency procedures earlier this afternoon. This was something we were hoping to finish by the end of June, but I feel like we need to take our time just a little bit more. And with the turnover within Kern County Sheriff's Office, we want to make sure we have a really good handle on what the capabilities are here at the airport and within the county so that we can provide the best value to our customers in terms of our emergency procedures.
As I mentioned before, I do recommend that when you're at 80%, publish and then fine tune the published document so that there's something. So we're not going, wow, we have this document that's really, really good, we just haven't published it yet, and then we have an incident.
We have an existing procedure, but what John's tasked with is kind of enhancing that existing procedure. So there is something that's on the books today.
Years ago, somebody drove a gasoline truck into the service station here in the middle of Mojave on a very, very busy Sunday afternoon or Monday afternoon, and the county fire captain in Mojave had just completed the disaster plan, and it worked like a charm. So, that's good.
That's what we're hoping for with the next time we go there.
You didn't put it in here, but I think it's probably worth mentioning that there are wires on all those poles out there now.
Oh, on the DWP towers.
Yes.
So the new towers that are 200 feet high, yes, there are power lines up there now.
The lines have been put up, so it's not
Yeah,
just,
that's what I'm-
it's not just the
There's
tower.
no
I don't know if they're
additional-
completely done, but they're definitely part of the way.
Yeah, I knew they'd skipped that section, but I didn't notice it.
No lights yet, and the only thing the FAA required in terms of which towers should be lit are the towers that are in the display of 826, not 1230. It's something that we're still discussing with DWP as an option. Right now, I'm waiting for DWP to give us the price of those lights, because if they refuse to pay for them, then it's something that we might want to consider just paying to put lights up on those towers. It's a real safety concern.
Any idea what that would be?
We don't know yet. They originally told us somewhere between 300,000 and $1 million, which I don't think is outrageously high, so I'm waiting to get an actual number from them.
Will we then have to maintain them?
It would probably depend on the deal that we struck with them. If we're using their same vendor that's putting them up here near 826, then we could possibly work a maintenance agreement with that same firm, I would guess.
I'm sure the answer probably is.
Okay, anything else?
Not this year.
Okay, item B, discussion of the budget.
So, Director Evans had requested that we put this under reports, so it's just a discussion item, it's nothing to take action on today. But we will need to take action before July 1st, so we can have the budget implemented for the next fiscal year. So included in the staff memo for this draft budget are really the significant items that I felt were worth highlighting for the budget. So staff expenses, for example, some of the major repair items that we needed to budget for this year. I'm happy to answer or elaborate on any of these items that the board has questions or comments on. And then I included a sort of a draft capital expenditures list. This isn't what I'm asking the board to approve today necessarily, but the total, the line item within the budget is what I'll present unless there's any changes to that number. And then what the board asked me to do is, before we actually get to the point where we're deciding which capital items to invest in, the board approves those items. So that's the intent. So a couple of things just to highlight on the staff changes. We had cut some staff during the year, and instead of backfilling that position, we just kind of reallocated some of those duties. And so there's two individuals in particular who've taken on quite a lot more in terms of what their daily tasks are. And so we'd like to recommend a 10% increase for those. And then two of our maintenance men who are very hard workers, we felt deserved a substantial increase as well. Maintenance man 2 for 5%, and then maintenance man 1 for 10%.
And you're proposing a bonus plan?
Yes, this is something that I'd like to do across the organization. And what we did is we kind of limited the number of merit increases for the staff, and the bonus plan would be available to all employees. And it would be based on very specific criteria. They would have specific individual goals to meet, first of all, and then we would have to have, we'd have to finish the year with revenues over expenses in order for us to be able to pay that out. That's one of the requirements as well.
I presume we have an employee evaluation process?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who makes the decision on what percent for each employee?
So the management team would decide for their staff, and then I would decide for the management team. Based on those criteria, based on individual goals and district-wide goals as well.
So management team member A could say, all my people get 5%. I think they all did fantastic, and if they go management team B says, who's a little hardcore, Peterson, for example, a little picky on this thing, says, oh, they only get 3%.
Yeah.
So are you adjudicating that at any level, or?
Yeah, we will. We'll discuss it, and the requirement being for every employee to be able to meet their goals. If the employee hasn't met their individual goals, they absolutely shouldn't get a 5% bonus, for instance. So that's just one example.
Have you got this written down somewhere?
We did. So I presented it in the budget workshop as what the criteria would be. Part of this would be incorporating customer satisfaction surveys in with the process. So if we, as an organization, if we can't satisfy our customers across the board, then nobody gets the bonus. That's part of the program.
All right, and so nobody could do better than 5%.
Correct.
Who sets the goals?
That's the maximum. So I do along with.
I could set a really low goal, we do it every year.
Yeah, so I do along with the senior management team. We decide the goals for the entire staff throughout the year. And what we've been doing, and you'll notice this is posted in the hallway, is our quarterly goals and objectives for every single person on staff. So we have weekly meetings to update how we're progressing with goals. And it gives everybody a little bit of buy-in in terms of what we're doing. So right now, for example, we're making enhancements to the Building 1 conference room. And so this is it's an opportunity for the staff to get involved in something that they wouldn't otherwise do. It's a project that is kind of a little bit off their radar normally. It's not something that Carmelita, in this case, would normally do.
Get a better view. Is that Building 1 gonna be finished by Monday?
We're trying.
Oh, good, I got a
We're
meeting
working
in
very hard.
Monday morning.
It already looks better, you'll notice.
Good, right, yeah. What about the collection of, is that gonna be a chair museum, or
No.
what?
We got rid of a lot of the furniture that was really not very functional.
Could have probably sold some of those in there.
Yeah. And the antique store maybe. But no, we're gonna put new furniture in there.
Good.
Yeah, jazz it up a little bit.
First time I walked in there, it looked like a cocktail lounge, with these little round tables and.
Yeah, it'll be much better.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about the implementation, not so much that, I think you're going totally in the wrong direction, but I can see this easily turning into where, rather than, let's say you take 5% of payroll and make it the budget pool, same number, right? It's the same number.
Yeah.
But it's not limited to a percentage for each employee. So somebody who did a fantastic year could get a 15% bonus, and somebody who just had an average year maybe did nothing. I'm just a little concerned that a 5% per employee over time becomes expected. Hey, we're all gonna make sure we meet our goals because we all need the extra 5%. But why does somebody get an outstanding job and gets a better than 5%?
I think some should play in there too is attendance, loss fund, workers' comp claims, so on. Because I guess that's named in there, you could have an employee who's constantly out sick, getting a 5% bonus.
That's a good
because they
point.
met their goals.
Yeah.
Well, they had, maybe they're super efficient in this, there, but that's my only concern is that, you know, these things, it's an excellent idea. But sometimes implementation, and I only know this from having screwed up in the past, right? And sometimes the best intentions don't turn out so good in implementation, and all of a sudden you're having to backpedal, you just say, yeah, that didn't work so well. So, I mean, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try, but I'm just a little concerned that we aren't leaving much room for somebody who does a fantastic job versus somebody who, above and beyond, as opposed to met. So, I mean, if the goals are extremely, if everybody has a basic, moderate, and stretch goal, and a stretch goal should be something extremely difficult to attain, then okay, then, and that's only we get to 5%, then maybe so.
I didn't want to make it too shocking, so I thought 5% would be, you know, it's a total of $60,000 to the budget across the organization. What I would propose, if the board would be okay with this, is to keep it in the budget as is, but then come up with very specific criteria for the board to discuss during the first quarter of the year. And before the plan's actually implemented, then the board can give me a little bit more direction on what they would propose.
I think the dollar amount's fair, but I think like you said, we'd like to see more on the implementation end of it before we actually give it a okay, but I think it's good in the budget.
You know, when I was in DC in the 80s, several federal agencies, we run into this with the senior executive service. I remember one office I was in where the guy running the offices, secretary, was told by the SESs he wanted to give Joe Blow, oh no, it's Charlie's turn this year. And he said, that's not the way I operate. It's not your turn, it's whether you earn it. I'm confident that you guys will. Sometimes employees have got to understand that it's just not to be expected unless you meet the criteria.
The team certainly knows I'm a stickler for meeting objectives and deadlines.
Okay, and you got a good crew too.
I don't know what other way you looked at it, but none of us looked at it as a percentage of profit, percentage of revenue. Obviously, percentage of revenue would be very low percentage of revenue, and then or percentage of salary, percentage of salary, which is one way. Certainly, percent of profit's another way to look at it, because then you get rid of paying, worrying about saying, hey, we're only going to pay it for profit. Right? So you're $1 profitable, you pay bonuses.
Right. That's a good point.
So anyway, there's some, I'm fine with the concept, I just think we need to be careful with implementation.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any questions on the capital equipment?
One other thing I just want to make sure is really clear to the board. It won't have a significant impact to personnel cost. One thing that I really want to implement starting July 1, we have various hours for different departments. The tower, for example, is open 7 to 5, fire department's open 7 to 3, the office is open 7:30 to 4:30, and so is fuels. I'd like to just streamline all the hours and have everybody 7 to 5. For the most part, we can stagger schedules, so we can have one fueler come in at 7 and the second fueler leave at 5, and there's overlap obviously in the middle. Same thing with the
I work
administrators.
every day, so.
If we want to pay the overtime, I'm sure. The only department that's going to impact, and it is reflected in the budget, is the fire department, because we are required to have 2 personnel for fire on it at all times. So if we extend the fire department hours, but also kind of limit them to an 8-hour shift, then we do need to have some overlap with the fire department. So we would anticipate filling that third seat with the part-time or the temporary staff, so we wouldn't have a full-time
What's
position.
the hours on the fire department?
7 to 3.
Why 7? Who's flying at 7?
There seems to be a lot of activity in the
School's
morning.
first launch is 8:30.
Yeah,
FRI's first launch is usually after that.
yeah.
I mean,
There's been some occasions when we've been out there.
there is the occasional merger
Yeah,
thing, but that would be scheduled on as, so I'm wondering, so I mean, you could probably go 8 to 4 right off the bat and you solve part of your problem.
Possibly. That's something that John can advise probably.
Okay, so currently, not knowing too much of the history here, but currently during the summer seasons, as the days get longer, the flights and get hotter, the flights start earlier in the morning. So that was historically working with the fire department, air traffic control. That was the timeframe that was suggested. Now, I do know that the fire department comes in as required before hours or after hours to augment and to take care of the test and evaluation that goes on. But the 07 more closely aligns with our published operating hours in the flips. So if our tower is going to be open, then our fire department should be here as well. So, in my opinion, if you're gonna broadcast the towers open at 7, you might as well have the fire department here. You need the fire department as well, because that's broadcasting that we're open for business. Sorry, did I explain that?
Can we put when we have the tower open weekends as fire department?
No, sir.
It depends on why
That
towers
defeats
open.
your logic then.
Yeah, if there's an activity here that we require a tower to be open for, then normally the fire department is here. So,
Yes.
because we consider the operation high risk, so we wanna have as many eyes on as possible. So it's not necessarily a requirement, but it's kind of our practice that if one's here, the other's here.
And currently, from the schedules that I've been getting, most of the testing that occurs out on the test sites has started typically. Their time block starts at 0700. They don't always start at 0700, but the requested time block starts at 0700.
And it is a requirement that we have is, whenever a test site is active, fire department has to be on
Oh,
staff.
you're talking about the rock.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything else? Anybody in the audience?
Also, the flight test camp for the kids starts on June 20th. We have 18 kids signed up from various schools in the local area as far south as Palmdale. And we got some good support from some sponsors, which we'll announce probably the next meeting. I'll announce everybody who's sponsored, just so we make sure we don't miss somebody. But we got some good tours set up, some good sponsorship, good support from the airport, and so it should be a good flight test camp again this year for the kids. And secondly, this is National Test Pilot School's 35th anniversary year. So 35 years ago, we started out back in April officially, but we're celebrating all year. So, so I noticed by Karina's office one of our anniversary prints of our anniversary paintings. If you want to see the real painting, come down to the school in the front foyer there. When you walk in, you can see Mike Mashat is the artist who did the painting. And then it looks like there's going to be one print hanging outside of Karina's office. You'll be able to see it there also. But, we've got different kinds of prints and stuff if people are interested. But anyway, I just want to announce that. So 35 years, all here at the Mojave Air and Spaceport.
You gonna have a patch?
But nah, I don't have a patch.
We just had ours framed, so it's not hanging yet.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, any other board members?
Yes, Chief Operations Officer John Himes and I attended the NSRC conference in Denver last Wednesday through Saturday. I think it's a great opportunity. I would encourage other board members, if our budget permits and they have the time, to go attend this. This is the new space industry. You have operators of other spaceports there. You have the providers, the launch providers there. It's great insight into where this industry really is. It is established. It is going somewhere. I think you're going to be surprised. There's going to be several new launches from the providers, Blue Origin, Sierra Nevada. I think we'll be launching this year, maybe one of them this month. But it's our industry, and it's nice to see. I'm very proud to represent us there. The other spaceports look at us for answers and as an example, and very envious of what we do here. We just keep it a secret. It was very enjoyable.
I didn't get to attend Veterans Day, but or Memorial Day. I understand John did a real good job.
He was excellent.
Yeah, and he's going to be speaking at the Gavia Luncheon next Thursday, and a week from Thursday, at the Heliopolis Center. And I plan to attend. Kathy, I think you're going. I don't know if anybody else is going. I'll tell you, the food at the Heliopolis Center is worth going, regardless of what's going on. So,
That's where I do our graduations, which is happening in 2 weeks.
good.
I just want to announce one thing that over the past week and a half, Hacienda Elementary School, California City High School, and Mojave Junior Senior High have all been robbed and vandalized. So if the community could be vigilant to keep an eye on these places at night. So we've had all three with substantial damage to all three campuses in the last week and a half.
Yeah, it's very disheartening. Okay, public comment, items not on the agenda.
I just wanted to ask Jim, how many people approximately attended that meeting that you went to?
I don't have a number. I noticed that the attendance was down from the previous meeting, which was
I think it was 2013.
2013, but it was a very established, very familiar faces that were there that are committed to the industry. I didn't quite see as many of the younger people there, and there was talk about how to define who these people are in this industry and how to get them attracted to this event. I would say probably, John, I don't know, 200? Yeah. A lot of history here. I mean, it's just so interesting. I'm kind of the outsider in the spaceport board, but you know, you have people working in the industry, from launch providers to NASA engineers to shuttle pilots. Very interesting, very educational. I really enjoyed it.
A lot of people from this area attended.
No, Maston did. Learned some things about Maston I didn't know. I've got quite the business model here. Very interesting. Virgin was there, basically not giving any dates, just that they'll be ready when they're ready. But great event, and I think it was really a lot of encouragement to let's have this again sooner rather than later. So, in fact, I'm not real good about Dr. Alan Stern, who puts this event on, but you talked about the craft going to Pluto. He's behind all that, and Karina's probably a little more versed in it.
He ran
That's
the
his
whole program.
project.
Okay, going to adjourn into closed session. I have a question. I'm going to have to sit out this last item now. Am I allowed, after the closed session is over, to comment on that, since I am president of the medical center board, or answer questions or anything? Or Doug is on the board also. I just wonder if he should stick around.
Scott, were you listening to that?
Yeah, so, Bill, because you're on the board,
Right.
and it involves a potential contract between the district and the foundation, you need to disqualify yourself from participating. The board can go ahead and continue to discuss the matter, but because you have to disqualify yourself, it means you cannot comment on it.
Okay, I understand that. So should Doug stick around? Is this going to be any kind, this is just one outfit's taken over from the other sort of thing? Yeah. You think you'll have any
Doug
questions?
can do whatever he would like. You just have to be sure.
Yeah,
Do whatever you like.
It's a 1090 issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we're, meeting's adjourned.